I'm Joy Elaine, author of The Joy Chronicles. In Book 4, Paths of Freedom, the Joy Council became involved in assisting many individuals to obtain their freedom, including genies and a woman named Sharina Habido, who turned out to be the key for peace in the Fantra universe. Our assistance also included freeing 124,310 children we discovered stored in stasis in the third dimension. There were several complications in that endeavor, one being that the third dimension left Earth in 2009, and another being that the children had been damaged by indoctrination. We also discovered that they were transmitters as well as possible time bombs, but, thankfully, we were able to gently and carefully debug them in the past before returning them to the Joy Council. Concerning the genies, Osiris told me that they were created to be babysitters to entertain children. They were owned, and the only way for them to become free was if their owner died. Unfortunately, when that happened, they were usually captured by another individual since they had never been taught to think of or for themselves. There were more than 2,000 genies in our universe alone, but only one female genie named Kiki. Many of the genies began learning how to become autonomous on a ship created for them by Commander Ashtar. Sharina, you remember I told you that she was the key to peace in the Fantra universe, was in a difficult situation. Her husband was one of the key conspirators involved in attempting to overthrow all the Joy Councils, and he kept her by his side constantly, except for when she used the bathroom. The pony was able to extract her and transport her to our council while simultaneously taking her place. He actually became Sharina and began a subtle process of giving her husband, Chankolar, everything he wanted. Well, as you might figure out, that didn't take too long to resolve. Chankolar wasn't the only problem. There were two key figures in the conspiracy much more powerful than he was. One of them I think of as the baddest of the bad. Sananda told me that he had never been in the presence of such concentrated evil. And then there was the occultist who was that man's teacher. Without the genius of the Swizzlers acting as one mind, the assistance of Sananda, Tonas, Osiris, Commander Ashtar, and the precise coordination of 4 Ashtar Command spaceships, that occultist would still be free and carrying out his plan to control all of the universes. Besides dealing with all that drama, the Joy Council had been deeply focused on sending transmissions to Earth to uplift the fourth dimension with the ultimate goal of assisting it to gracefully release from Earth. In the nick of time, we discovered that members of the species opposing that release were ready to activate their moles. Since we didn't have enough council members who resided on Earth to support the release of the fourth dimension, we had to scramble to add members. We ended up with 40 million people in the Moon Joy Council and 137 million people in the Earth Joy Council. In that location, many of the council members were Native Americans. Due to a collective decision by the people of Earth, the fourth dimension released from Earth in March of 2015. When the Joy Council began, there were no universes that were entirely non-dual. In March of 2015, the Neph2 universe became the first to have all of its inhabitants and worlds become non-dual. Later that year, the entire universe ascended into the fifth realm. Members of 44 tribes living in our rainforests requested being returned to their home worlds, and the Ashtar Command assisted them to do so. Before he and his tribe left Earth, a small brown man named Ungara revealed to our council that 100,000 years ago, his people knew the Joy Council would exist. In Book 3, a former crystal named Corey embodied and fell in love with Laponi. Luckily, he fell madly in love with her. In this book, Zeus, Corey's mother and also a former crystal, of course, told me she now loved being embodied. She was initially very resistant to that idea. And she had her eye on Commander Ashtar. Laponi began showing the stars, moons, suns, and worlds in each universe different options for embodying. He also created a joy club in each universe so that, after they embodied, they could meet each other. My birthday gift, besides everything chocolate to eat and drink, was Charlie announcing, as they walked across the stage, some of the names of those from every universe who embodied and found their heart mates. Charlie began taking cooking lessons from Julia Child. She came to our council when she was asleep to teach him. Although he is still the only Swizzler who speaks, many of the others began choosing names and developing their individuality. Chucky demonstrated for me that lemonade came out of his penis. I shut my eyes first, and Laponi apologized for making that possible. In honor of Earth Day, Charlie and Laponi created a small volcano that was supposed to erupt champagne into our outstretched glasses. I imagine you can visualize how that turned out. If you're not visiting the Joy Councils and or reading their chronicles, you are missing out on lots of fun. Namaste.